Hello and welcome to another tutorial. We're going to continue our discussion on how to learn a programming language such as Java using ChatGPT by learning the skill of asking the right questions in order to get the right answers, right? And then we said that the very first thing that we need to do is to be able to download and set up the Java development environment, or JDK. So let's go to our ChatGPT session and ask what is the most recent version of JDK. You want to know what version should I install. As of September 2021, the most recent version is 17. Obviously, I think it's just looking at the LTS or long-term support versions, because right now obviously after 17, 18 and 19 came out, but those are not LTS or long-term support. So is JDK 17 a LTS version? LTS means long-term support. These are the ones that get so it says that JDK 17 is not a long-term support. LTS version of the JDK available that are supported for longer period of time. I'm not sure if this is correct. I think JDK 17 is a long-term support, or maybe JDK 18 was a long-term support. So the current LTS is 11, which is not correct. So is JDK 18 a LTS? So you wanna, it's best to prefer installing a long-term support version of the JDK. Long-term support, JDK release schedule and designation of LTS versions are determined by Oracle. And yeah, right now it's suggesting installing JDK 17, which is fine. We can go ahead and install it. So I'm using the Mac OS environment. So let's see where to download. It already gave us where to check the schedule. So we can check this. Let's open this in a new tab. It says page not found. It's interesting that so let's it's interesting that the links are not up to date, which is very interesting. So let's ask where and then obviously if you are familiar with Java, you know that there are different ways of installing a JDK, and there are different companies that provide binary builds for the JDK. So let's see what are different providers of JDK. So we want to know what are the different JDKs. Java Development Kit is a software development kit provided by Oracle. Now obviously it's open source. There are other providers of the JDK, which means they all have access to the source file, source code, and then they build it. They set up build servers. You have to set up a build server. It's a bit complicated, and then do a build, which means you compile, because JDK obviously is written in C or C++ part of it. So you have to compile to generate all the development tools that are needed. So Oracle is one of the providers that actually provides the binaries. Besides that, Adopt Open JDK is another platform that you can acquire a pre-built Open JDK. Amazon Corretto is also another place that you can download Open JDK builds. IBM and Red Hat. IBM is also another provider of the Open JDK. I have used Oracle JDKs, Adopt Open JDK also, and so if you have heard of Graal VM, what about Graal VM, right? Graal VM is also another tool that actually has a built-in JDK. So you can also install Graal VM in order to get access to a JDK. It comes with a JDK. So Graal VM can be used as a Java virtual machine and can execute Java applications. It is based on OpenJDK, so it has a OpenJDK inside of it, right? If you're new to Java, you want to just start with Java, I suggest you don't use Graal VM. I have a full course on Graal VM, especially the features that it has, like native image, which is a very interesting tool. You can check them out. But for now, GraalVM is not a provider of Java development kit, but rather a runtime. Actually, it comes with a full JDK, so it's not just a Java runtime. If you are looking to develop Java applications, you will need to obtain a JDK. It looks like obviously this information is a little bit incorrect or a little bit outdated, so maybe not many people have asked about this AI about Java, but I think it's good that we are asking these questions. All right, so back to the main topic. We want to go and download the development tool. So where do I download the JDK? And for example, it's suggested download it from Adopt OpenJDK or Oracle. Let's say, where do I download Oracle JDK? By the way, let me increase the font size a little bit more so that it's easier for you to follow. So where do I download Oracle JDK? You can download Oracle JDK from the Oracle website. To download the JDK, follow these steps. Go to the Oracle website and click on the download button for the JDK. Accept the Oracle Technology Network License Agreement. Select the version of the JDK that you want to download. By version, it means it has to match your platform, whether it's an Intel x86 64 platform or ARM, ARM 32-bit, ARM 64-bit. I believe Oracle and other providers have started providing also JDKs, JVMs for the ARM base, which is not based on the x86 64 architecture. It has ARM architecture. I think the binaries are available, especially also for Apple platform M1, M2 chips. I believe the binaries for the JVM and the JDK are available. Now I'm on the Mac OS, but my platform is still Intel x86 64. So after you select the correct platform, you can just say download. It's important to know that you may need to create an Oracle account and sign in before you can download the JDK. Yes, I believe that's true. For other places like Adopt OpenJDK, probably you don't need to create any account. You can also find additional information and instruction for downloading and installing the JDK here. So let's see if this link is up to date and works. So we're going to oracle.com. We found it looks like the pages are not up to date, but let's say the link that you provided is not working. I think the reason is that obviously the JDK is not the latest version, so they kind of remove these the links to JDK 17. So let's see. We're going to Oracle products, developers, download. Okay, let's follow this instruction. Let's go to the main page of Oracle, and then we're going to products, and then developers, hardware and software. We can just click on Java here, for example. Let's see, developer services. Yeah, let's go to Java and download Java. And then Java 19 and Java 17 are available now. So Java 17 LTS. So obviously, I guess ChatGPT got it wrong. Java 17 is an LTS version. Java 19 is not an LTS version. So right now you can download Java 19. So let's go ahead and download it. And again, I'm on the, they have binaries for ARM. They have binaries for x86 64. RPM package for these are for Linux, Linux on ARM, Linux on x86, Mac OS on ARM. So this ARM on Mac OS is obviously the Mac M1, M2 chips, x64 compressed archive or DMG installer, Windows, again, compressed archive. There is no ARM for Windows at the moment. For Mac OS and Linux, there is an ARM available. Now these are binaries. Obviously you can download the source from the Git and then compile the JVM JDK yourself, but it's better not to do that. Binaries are because compilation takes a long time. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to download the compressed archive. You can also, maybe we could also download the DMG. Maybe it's easier. Let's also download the DMG. And then what we're going to do is just go ahead and run this. let's open it. Yeah, I just opened it. So this opens up this package, and this installer, this just copies the files to the right location and ask ChatGPT, which is something interesting. So right now we're going to close this. Installation successful. Let's move this to trash. Okay, now let's ask ChatGPT that we installed the JDK on macOS. Where does it install it, right? Where does JDK get installed on macOS? Let's say we want to locate the files, right? The reason we want to locate the files after installation is because then you have to also add them to the path environment variable or set up Java home environment variable. So on macOS, JDK, Java Development Kit, is typically installed here, library, Java virtual machines. And this is correct. So this is a great answer. You can use the find command in terminal to search for JDK on your system. And then you want to send the output to null. So first, let's just try this. So I'm going to go to Finder, go to folder, and then we're going to say from root, go to library, Java, and Java virtual machines. Let's open this up. So this is by default where all the JDKs that you install go, right? These are the actual files. And you see I've installed the JDKs from Oracle, from Graal VM, and from Adopt OpenJDK. I haven't used Amazon Corretto or other types of available binaries for the JDK, but normally these three are the ones that we mainly use. And I just installed JDK 19, and you see JDK 19 went there, so everything is there. Now there is a next step, right? So in the next step, we should we should be able to select one of these as our main JDK and add it to the path environment variable. Whenever you want to add something to your path, it means you want to be able to type the name of the applications without providing the full path. And where are all the applications? They are in the contents home bin. Usually when the structure of a native application is, it has a bin, which means binary. All the Java development tools, jar, Java, this is our JVM, Java C, this is our Java compiler, Java doc, Java P, which is the disassembler, Java flight recorder, JLink, JInfo, JImage, JMap, JMod, JPackage. All of these are binary. So we want to be able to add this bin to the path environment variable if we want Java 17, Java 19 to be our main Java. And what do I mean? I mean, when you open a terminal, I'm running fish on top of my terminal to make it much easier to use. You want to say which Java. And this tells you what Java terminal can find. And remember, terminal is the path or the window to the operating system. So when you write a Java source code and you want to compile it, you run Java C, Java compiler. You want to know which JDK version this Java C comes from. And this comes from the path environment variable. So echo path, and then we want to feed it to grep application JDK. And right now you see that JDK basically 18 is on my path environment variable, right? This binary JDK 18 bin directory, which means I'm right now, my operating system realizes that I want to use JDK 18, right? But then the question is, let's say we don't know that, right? So this find tells you from the root of your hard disk of your operating system, search for the name JDK, and these are wildcard, which means any file, any directory, anything that has this JDK name. And 2 means just give the one of the output standard streams to the dev null if there is a warning or anything. We don't want to see the warnings. Well, so this is a good way of searching, but for now we already know that the correct answer is when we use the installer for the JDK, it goes to from the root, goes to library, Java virtual machines. Now it's very interesting that it also says that alternatively you can use this binary application, which I kind of forgot. So it's very good that it also suggests this. So let's see what happens if we install this or run this in our terminal. So user or usr libexec java home. It points to the JDK 9. So basically, this is very interesting thing on Unix or Mac OS is this Java home is a binary, right? So we can go in the libexec. What this means is that you can execute this, and whenever you install a newer version of the JDK, this command points to the newest version of the JDK that you install. So if you don't know what that library Java virtual machine is, or you just want to always use the latest version that you install, then you can write this command, and this points you to the home directory, right? Let's see if there are also other versions. For example, Java. There is no, because right now Fish tells me that this is basically red. So the blue means this is a valid command, and this Java home is very interesting that this is also available. Always points you to the latest version of the JDK that you install. But this doesn't mean that this is the one that the command line sees. You have to use the which command, which Java. This tells me that JDK 18, because command line or the operating system finds the application that you want, like Java or Java-C, based on the path environment variable, right? So let's see what it says. You can also use Java home -v. So let's see what if we say Java home -v, it probably tries to sort all the versions of the JDKs that we have installed, and it correctly picks up on all of them. Java SE, Graal VM, so adopt open. These are all the ones that I installed here, right, in my library. Java virtual machine. So this is a very interesting thing that I actually didn't know the details, but Java home -version, it's a binary executable that comes with macOS, and then you can say -v, and then it sorts all the versions, and it tells you what is the architecture. For example, 19 is x86 64, 18 this is Java SE, and this is the full path to the home, etc. All of these are x86 64, right? It's very interesting. And we can also, for example, let's see if there is a man page. If this comes directly with Unix, there should be a man page for this. No manual entry, which is interesting. Usually there is a help, -help with the command line application. So let's see if this one has -help. Yes. So Java home, it returns the path to a Java home directory from the current user setting. And again, by default, this assumes that all the JDKs that you have installed are installed in the default location that the macOS knows about: library, Java virtual machines. So let's open up the terminal. -version, filter Java version in the JVM version, -a arc, filter JVM matching architecture, -d or data model, filter JVM capable of 32 and 64 bit, -t or task, use the JVM list for a specific task. So we can actually ask, for example, here it also gives an example. -v, we just look at this in the help page, right? It says -v or -version, filter Java versions in the JVM version. So it says that if you want to know if you have JDK 8 installed, go to this and say filter by version 1.8, and it says yes, you have 1.8. Let's say I want to filter by 18. Yes, I do have installed JDK 18. Or let's say JDK 15. I do have installed JDK 15, but it's not Oracle JDK, it's Adopt JDK. So I haven't installed any Oracle JDK 15. I've installed, for example, Adopt Open JDK 15, and this is based on OpenJ9. So this is from IBM, right? So this is a very good command. I didn't know the details, but ChatGPT helped me a lot to understanding. This is a very interesting tool to use, and it's available. You can also use the usr libexec java -v, capital V command to list all the versions. Know that the JDK is typically installed as a package in macOS, and the installation location may vary depending on how it was installed. And again, always try to install the default location, especially if you're using Linux or macOS, right? So this was very interesting. The other thing that I would like to explore here, let's ask ChatGPT if it can show us all the, can you show me all the command line arguments for USR, libexec, java underscore home. So I want to know what this USR libexec java home, what kind of command line arguments. I didn't know about -v, for example, or -v with a specific version. So let's see if it's able to show us the command line arguments for USR libexec java home. Options -v, print the version of the USR java home, a v. Note that if you're not familiar with the conventions, usually we have one word command line arguments, one character with single dash. If you want to use the full name, which is version, you have to use double dash, hyphen version. -f or format, print the home directory of the JDK, -d, -x, -j, -h, -r. The USR libexec java home command is used to print the path to the Java development kit on macOS. So apparently this is not available on Linux. It looks like it's a Mac specific. By default, it prints the path to the current JDK, not the current JDK, basically not the JDK that's on the path, the most recent version of the JDK that you have installed, right? Because I just showed you that, for example, I just installed JDK 19, but on my path environment variable, JDK 18 is set up. So if I ask it which Java the terminal can find, it tells me it's JDK 18, even though the most recent version is 19, right? So this, let's ask if this USR libexec java home available. Is this also available on Linux, or is it specific to macOS? So let's see if this is also available on Linux. Let's say you're a Linux user, you're trying to use Linux. Let's see what it says. Again, a very impressive thing that it can show you all the usage of this Java home from libexec, all the details, everything. It's really impressive. So the USR libexec java home command is specific to macOS and is not available on Linux. On Linux, you can use update-java-alternatives to manage the default Java runtime and development kit on your system. And again, because right now I'm on macOS, I'm not going to show you how to install JDK on Linux or Windows. But again, using this ChatGPT, amazingly, you can get all the details you need to really download it, install it, figure out how to add it to, for example, your path environment variable. So this USR libexec java home is specific to macOS, which is very interesting to know. I didn't know that, but it's really impressive. And it's still going. So it tells you that you can also use Java and JavaC commands to manage the Java runtime, right? And again, you have to first make sure that JavaC, basically the bin directory of the JDK that you install is on the path environment variable, right? That's the way you actually select one of these. Let's say JDK 18, I want JDK 18 to be on my path environment variable. So I just go to the home bin directory, copy bin as a path name. This is the full path, and then go and add it to the path environment variable. This is the way. But usually what we do, we define a global environment variable for the home, and then we say that java home /bin added to the path, right? So if I go back to my terminal and let's clear this up. Obviously Java -version works as it suggests. Java 18, this is the one that I'm currently using on my path environment variable. Java C -version as it suggests, Java C 18. If I say echo Java home, this is set up to point to the home directory of JDK 18. And then what you do in your bash RC, again, for your terminal, you have to tell your terminal, which is the way you talk to operating system, set up an environment variable, and you basically say export, for example, path is $Java home. That's how you get the value of the Java home /bin, right? And then you don't want to lose the other values that you already have on the path. So you usually do something like this, right? And we can ask it. So how do I add Java bean? How do I add the bin directory of JDK to path environment variables? Let's say I don't know how to add it. I know that I should add it because then Java, all the command line, all the tools are available on the command line, on the terminal for me, or basically available to the operating system, because operating system, you have to either give it the full path to the application, or you have to make it available on the path environment variable so that operating system can search for it and find it. To add the bin directory of the JDK to your path environment variable, you need to modify the path variable in the shell. And again, I'm assuming I'm using macOS. If you're using Windows, then you have to clarify it for ChatGPT. You go to your bash RC in the home directory. This tilde means home directory or bash profile. Usually on macOS, bash RC is available. You can also use bash profile or dot profile, adding the following: export path is path to JDK. My recommendation is obviously first define the Java home environment variable using the export. So you say export Java home. So you say, let's clear this up. And then you say export Java home. And then the path to the Java, whatever it is, library /Java/Java virtual machines. And the fish terminal basically has autocomplete. JDK, what JDKs are available. Let's say JDK, I want to go 19. I can go 19. And then .jdk, and then contents, and then we want to go to home. This is how you set up the Java home for the version that you want. And after you set it up, you go and then add it to the path, Java home /bin, right? And /bin, we ran into an issue here. It failed, but I hope you enjoyed this lecture. This gives you a very clear understanding on how to really use the power of ChatGPT to get answers to general questions that you would face when you're trying to install JDK on your computer. I hope you enjoyed this. Please stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.